Hello everybody, this is Rick Ray from rickrayfx.com. Sawadee Krap for all of our Thai people watching. And I'm just going to go over the charts of what I'm looking at for the 8th of June 2020 and show you what I'm looking at and how I see the charts unfolding this evening. And remember, this is my perspective, my analysis, the trades that I take. And I'm not recommending or suggesting that you take these same trades. You might get different results. Okay, it's up to you to manage your own account and be sure you use good risk management. All right, don't trade too big and always protect your capital. Don't be afraid to take a small loss, but don't accept big losses. Okay, so what are we looking at this evening? It was a crazy week last week, wasn't it? With everything was bullish against the US dollar. I mean, everything was like a runaway train. Well, you know, those things cannot just keep going up into the clouds. There has to come a point where they take a break, take a rest. What's the word I'm looking for? Correction. Yeah, some people use that word, correction, or even make a turnaround and start to trend the other direction. So that might be what we're starting to see on this Monday. And looking at the Euro US, it's definitely been very, very bullish. Okay, there's no question about that. Look at that. All right. But then today, okay, and this white line is the beginning of today, it's just come across sideways, but now starting to drop down. So although it's still bullish officially, all right, it's getting quite high. If you look on the daily chart, it has an exhaustion candle on Friday's closing day candle, an exhaustion candle, and you see it's almost reached a very, very strong resistance point too, where it's only able to get to quite a few days ago. This is a daily chart, and if you go back to the weekly, you see it's been a long time since it's been up in this range. It was here how many weeks ago? 20 weeks ago. All right, back in fact that was February. Okay, and then again back in June of 2019, okay, and then again back in January 2019. So perhaps it's run out of steam and that's as high as it's going to go. It could just go back up and test that a little bit more. All right, maybe try and bounce off of that again, but it looks like it's taking a break and doing a correction. All right, so be careful if you're going to go long on the Euro US. A good point to go long on the Euro US would be right now where it is, okay, and that's at 1.1274. If you want to go long, just make a small trade and go long. But this could continue on down this evening once the US market opens for more correction. It might be trying to come down into this area here and fill this huge gap from last week, okay, this big run up, and then it might just be coming down to fill that gap before it would take off and do another bullish run. New Zealand US is officially bullish, okay, but you see the last couple of hours it's starting to pull back now, and it's the same. It's very, very high. You look on the weekly chart. This is a very, very strong resistance point here. You see on the weekly chart, this was back in December 2019, and then this was back in June of 2019. So very, very strong support here. So this is a very strong psychological number here. If the New Zealand US should continue on up to 0.6708, all right, very, very likely, extremely likely that that's as far as it's going to go. But it looks to already be starting to take a correction, okay? And you see this huge candle from last week. That was because of the non-farm payrolls. All right, but it's still moving up today. Just the last couple of hours started to pull back. So if you do want to go long with a small trade, that would be at 0.6489. Wait till it pulls back down to there. And then the odd US, pretty much the same as the New Zealand US. Go to the daily chart and you see it has gone well above. This yellow line is the 300-day moving average. It just blew right past that, okay? But on the weekly chart, you see, wow, it's really at a very strong resistance area right here. It did that back in December 2019, and then all along here it was support and resistance. And so it looks like this could be about as high as this is going to go. And we know that the Australian economy has just reported that they are in a recession and that the next quarter's data is going to be just as bad or worse. So the Australian dollar could be running out of steam up in here. If you want to go long on that, it's officially bullish. Okay, let's see what it is on the daily chart. It's 92 on the stochastic, so it's quite overbought. But on the hourly chart, if it pulls back to 0.6957, that would be a good entry point to go long with a small trade. Then the pound US, oh, this is a good one. Okay, the daily. It's getting up to a very strong resistance point here. All right, not very far away from that. In fact, if you look on the weekly, all right, it's only a few pips away from a very strong, these are weekly candles. This is a very strong psychological number here where it's just about to get to now. So it looks like as the beginning of the week, you know, I don't generally trade much on a Monday because that's generally the day when the currency pairs are looking for direction. And it appears that after that long, huge, massive bullish run that they all did last week, it's time for a correction or a pullback or a rest, or take a break. If you want to go long on the pound US, that would be a good entry point. You missed that on the last hour, actually. Right there was a good entry point, 1.2624. But still okay to get in there. And you see the stochastic is coming down, so that might go just a little bit lower. And then when the U.S. market opens, it might take off again and continue its move back up in the towards that resistance point. And the USD CAD, terribly bearish. It did exactly what I said it would do a couple weeks ago. It fell off the cliff. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Back up in here somewhere, I think. I said it was going to fall off the cliff, and it did. Just drop like a brick. Okay, but the interesting thing about the USD CAD, it's approaching a very, very strong support, and it's bouncing off. Last Friday, it bounced off the 300 moving average, the 300-day moving average, and it's done the same thing today. So that could be as far as it will go. Or if it's going to break through that, it has a strong support just below that, and then there's another one there. And this one, if you look on the weekly chart, is interesting because these are weekly candles. This is the typical range that the USD CAD trades in. But then we had the coronavirus and all the oil crisis and all of that stuff. That's when it got way out of its comfort zone. Okay, but now it's coming back to its comfort zone. See, it's just filling up that gap. Took off here, and there was a huge gap between where it normally trades. So it's likely that this could go ahead and break through where it is now, the 300-day moving average, and come back and get back down in its comfort zone between these two psychological numbers here, and start trading in that range that is really likes that range there, just up and down, up and down, up and down, as long as there's nothing wild and crazy, you know, where it just sinks further or either turns around and goes back higher. So to go short on this, it's officially bearish, but it's at a very, very, very strong resistance point, support line right now with that 300-day MA. So if you want to go short, wait till it pulls back. Actually, a couple of hours ago would have been better, but if it pulls back to 1.3441, that would be a good entry point right back in here. And it looks like it's going to drop a little bit more, but you know, the U.S. market opens at 7 p.m., so we'll wait and see. Then the USD JPY, kind of the same story as the rest of them. It's bullish, all right, no question about that. It broke out of its comfort zone, all right, about a week ago, and now it's trading in the 108 to 109 range, and go back where it is now, 109.4. And if you want to go long on this, an hour ago would have been perfect. Okay, it bounced off of that entry point there, 109.28, or even now would be okay. And this is likely to go up to 110. Maybe not 110.3, but 110. In fact, it probably will go to 110.3. That it usually does move that far when the U.S. market opens, and that would be from where it is now, about 88 pips. Yeah, That would be a nice move for the USD JPY. So you can either take the entry now as you're watching this video, or wait and see when the US market opens, if it should pull back to 109.28. Okay, and then the last one, my new toy, the Pound New Zealand. What a beautiful run this is having. Look at that downtrend. Oh, that's just a beauty, and it just keeps going today. Surprised to see it drop already so much, but and it's already too far gone. If you want to go short on the Pound New Zealand, it's already on the hourly, it's oversold, and you look on the daily, the stochastic is on 3. So it's very, very, very super oversold, the Pound New Zealand. So that one would be no trade this evening, unless it were to pull way back up, and then you get a better entry point, but it's pretty far gone for today. Okay, and did I talk about gold yet? No, I didn't talk about gold yet. Gold. Everyone knows what happened with gold on Friday because of the non-farm payrolls. Everybody decided that the economy in the U.S. is going to be okay, and we don't need to go for the safe haven of gold anymore. So it just dropped like a brick. I forget how many pips that was on Friday, from the open of Friday down to the end. There 460 pips. Okay, and you know, it is what it is. Whether or not the numbers were real or not, who knows, but it is what it is, and gold is officially bearish on the strategy. But look at this, you know, the Asian Pacific market just started buying and buying and buying and buying. It's great, it's really good. It's gone up over 100 pips already since it opened this morning, 180 pips this morning. But what you're seeing is it's hit this resistance number now, 1696. That's our first area of resistance. Now if it'll break above this, our next area is going to be 1709. And if it breaks above this, which means you see my trend line here, if it closes, if I get a candle that closes above this trend line, I'm going to go long. Okay, I will go long on the gold, on the XAU USD for sure. But just wait and see when the US market opens. And then, of course, for it to actually officially turn bullish, we need to see it close above 1721. And anything is possible. So we'll just wait and see when the U.S. market is open. But if it should start to go down, it is officially bearish. Okay, and if you want to go short, right now is a good point to do that. But I would rather wait. Wait and see, you know, and usually it's about 8 p.m. Thailand, 8:30 p.m. Thailand before you start to see a significant move on gold and be able to get an idea of which direction it's really going to move. And I still have my 3 long trades here. Okay, everybody knows that, 722, 727, 728, and I'm just holding those. Okay, that's they're all micro lot trades, so it's no big deal. They're in a loss now, but gold has been bullish since October of last year, and we just occasionally do see these pullbacks like this, you know. So it looks bearish for a couple of days, and then it gets going again after it finishes its correction, and then it starts to move back the way it's been going that we like. Okay, it really wants to get back up into that above 1700. That was its comfort zone for quite a while there. So it was very unusual to see it break and close below 1700 on Friday. But it looks like it's headed back up. Okay guys, I hope this helps you, and enjoy your evening of trading, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.